Hey guys, it's Elise and welcome back to My Cupcake Addiction. If you follow the channel, you'll know that I'm a massive fan of no-bake desserts. Anything that saves us a bit of time in the kitchen and still looks and tastes amazing is right up my alley. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a no-bake Snickers pie. You might have seen my Toblerone tart, you might have seen my no-bake strawberry cheesecake. This is yet another fantastic idea that you can not bake and surprise your guests with when they come over for dinner and realize one of their favorite candy bars has been turned into an amazing dessert. The things you're going to need to make your Snickers pie: I've got some roasted but unsalted peanuts, some milk chocolate, I've got some white cookies. You can use any type of white cookie you like, from shortbread through to graham cracker. These guys are milk coffee, really doesn't matter. I've got a lot of Snickers bars. I've also got some butter, and I'm cheating today with a can of caramel. If you want to make your own caramel, you are more than welcome to, and I have a great, beautiful, thick caramel recipe that I'll leave a link to down below as part of my giant Rolo recipe. I'm going to use a can today because it saves a ton of time, it's really easy, and it sticks to the no baking part of this particular tart. I've also got a little bit of whipping cream, and I'm going to leave all of your dimensions and quantities on the MyCupcakeAddiction.com website. I'll link to that post down below. You're going to need a removable base tart pan. So mine's a 10-inch round removable base tart pan with quite a low sidewall. You guys can mix up the size, but you may need to adjust the recipe slightly if you're going with a different size or shape tart pan. Let's get started. So you want to crush your cookies. I crush mine in a food processor because you want them to be really, really nice and fine, kind of like sand. And I've also melted my butter just in the microwave. Take your butter now and you're going to pour it over the crushed cookies and stir it through. Depending on the type of cookies that you use, some will actually absorb the butter a little bit faster than others, so you may need to just slightly adjust that butter measurement. You're looking for like wet sand, the type that you'd make a decent sandcastle out of that holds together when you squeeze it in your hands. And then you can just pour the whole lot into your tart pan. Flatten it down, pressing out to the edges, and as you press out to the edges, you want to make sure that you're pushing so that it comes right up nice and firm and over and above your sidewall. I like to take like a cup or a small jar and just press down. You'll actually notice it forces it into the corners a little bit more so you don't get super, super thick corners, and just helps those sides to push up, but it also helps to compact it really nicely. Whenever you're making a no-bake base, you want it to be super tightly compacted because that's essentially kind of what holds it together when you go to serve your pie. I'm just going to take a sharp knife now and I'm going to trim the edges off nice and flat with the top and coming outside or away from the tart pan. You can pick up any of those edges and you can add them back into the base if you like. We don't want to waste any cookie here. This just helps to give us a really nice, neat, thick edge. I'm happy with that. That's going to go off into the fridge for a few minutes while we work on the next part of our Snickers pie. Caramel. Now this can sometimes be called dulce de leche. The one problem that I find with these cans of caramel is when they come out, they're kind of lumpy. So I like to use the electric mixer, or you could use a hand whisk just to make sure that they're really, really nice and beaten so they go super smooth. Perfect. Smooth and flowing caramel. Now I'm going to take my peanuts, put them all in and stir them through. This is like the caramelly, nutty layer of a Snickers bar. Pull your base out of the fridge and then you're just going to spoon over your caramel mixture. Spread it out so it's nice and even. As I get close to the sidewalls while I'm smoothing, I'm trying to just sort of push into the sidewalls but not drag any of that peanut caramel back, purely because I don't want to pull any of that cookie away. It's not completely set yet, so it needs a little bit more time to be completely in its place, and I don't want to ruin those beautiful sidewalls. Getting this super smooth is almost impossible because it's full of peanuts, but I'm just using a spatula to smooth it out as best as I can and get it as smooth as I can, and then you can pop it back off into the fridge. All right, you can take your cream and chocolate now, and I'm going to pour the cream straight over the chocolate. We're going to essentially make just a thin layer of ganache. So you want to put that into the microwave for 30-second intervals, stirring really well in between, and that's going to make the milk chocolate layer that goes on top of our peanut caramel layer. Now you get to chop up your Snickers bar, and this is where you get to steal chunks of Snickers bar as you go. I've put 5 Snickers in the recipe, but guys, go crazy here. If you want to combine Snickers and Twix, if you want bigger chunks or smaller chunks, this is your no-bake tart. You can have more or you can have less. That's the beauty of making it yourself. I've kind of like cut my Snickers into cubes, and then I'm just gonna go acrossways because I want these to be pretty messily cut. So your ganache should be really, really nice and smooth. You can see there that consistency. It's quite a thin ganache and it's beautiful and lump-free. So I'm gonna grab my tart out of the fridge now. So you just wanna pour your ganache evenly. You really wanna cover all of that caramel on top and let it pool out to the sides of our tart. The ganache is actually going to set once this is refrigerated, which is gonna help hold everything together. Now, if you're using a slightly different sized or shaped tart pan, that ganache is kind of where you can equalize it a bit. If it's too low, you can microwave a little bit more chocolate and cream to bring the size of the sides up a little bit. If it's too high, you can not put in all of the ganache. You want it almost level, but just slightly below level. Feel free to go crazy on the decorations. You can pipe rosettes, you can do whatever you like, but I'm gonna pile. I am gonna pile Snickers all over this thing. I want it to be a little bit more heavy on the Snickers in the center, but I also want to make sure that there's no part that doesn't have Snickers. You can see there as I pop in all that Snickers, that ganache is already starting to raise itself up. So make sure that you're keeping an eye on it and stop adding Snickers before the ganache goes over the sides of the tart. My last little few sprinklings, can just fill in some of those gaps. And that's it. How easy was our Snickers pie to make? All right, it's not it. You can't eat it just yet. It needs to be in the refrigerator for about 3 hours before you serve it, which is going to help the caramel set, but it's also going to let that ganache set and the base set beautifully. So when we cut it and serve it, it's really nice and neat and easy to serve. After you've patiently waited for your 3 hours, you want to remove the tart by just pressing gently on the base and lifting it out. I actually prefer to serve my no-bakes still on those metal bases underneath and just transfer that whole thing onto a cake tray or a serving plate. Use a nice hot sharp knife for best results when cutting, and as you slice through you'll see your layers of cookie, your beautiful peanutty caramel, that delicious ganache, and of course Snickers on top. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's no-bake Snickers tart recipe. Not only is it super simple, I'm talking like 15 minutes simple to whip up, there is nobody apart from those that have serious nut allergies who's not going to be excited to see a dessert named after one of our favorite candy bars. If you want to check out my no-bake playlist, I will leave a link down below for more awesome, quick, easy no-bake dessert ideas. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do if you'd like to see 2 more videos from me every week. And as always, guys, thanks very much for watching.